DC Universe Rebirth, the biggest comics event of the 21st century. The greatest heroes and villains. The greatest graphic novels. The next epic starts here. Volume 1 collections of the best-selling comic books.
Hi everyone, we're back with another DC University Art Academy, and now we have Liam Sharp, everyone, artist of Wonder Woman. Topher, please clap. Thank you. I appreciate you, baby. Thank you. Liam, so what are you going to draw today, man?
I'm going to draw an Ares this time.
All right.
So last time I did a cheetah, but I think I'm going to do a different kind of a beast this time. So Ares, when I came to thinking about the design, I wanted to mix...
That's Ares from the smash hit Wonder Woman film.
Well, it'd be from the comic.
Oh, and also from the best-selling comic, Wonder Woman Volume 1, The Lies, available at your local store.
Absolutely. So the way I did the helmet kind of evolved over time. I wanted it to just have a kind of real blunt force, like it was actually some kind of a battering ram feel, but also mix it up a little bit so that it had aspects of the more recent run from the New 52, crossed with the classic Perez version. So I kind of produced a hybrid.
Was that, so, you know, a lot of your Wonder Woman designs, were you kind of, it was a hybrid of influences from Azzarello and Chang and Perez and a bunch of other artists?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, there's been so many great runs on Wonder Woman, but I really love the New 52 Azzarello Chang version. Great guys.
So how did you get approached to do Wonder Woman? You drew it along with Greg Rucka, who's one of our wonderful writers, one of our best writers in the industry, quite frankly.
No, he's amazing. It's funny, I just heard through the grapevine that the book was available, and I didn't instantly think that would be the perfect book for me. I was just like, that's interesting, you know? And the night that I heard that, it was actually Thanksgiving a couple of years ago. So it would have been 2015. And I went back home, and on my desktop there was this very, very detailed Red Sonja piece that I'd done many years earlier. And I just happened to have it on there, and I looked at it and I thought, you know, you could do Wonder Woman like that in a really sort of hyper-detailed, almost pre-Raphaelite kind of approach. And I couldn't stop thinking about it. And I went to bed that night and just had this almighty dream about a very kind of Barry Windsor Smith, super detailed version of Wonder Woman. And I woke up the next day and was just like, maybe I should consider this seriously. So I've known Jim Lee for a really long time. We go back to the 90s, which is where I kind of started out. And I texted him this picture of Red Sonja. I said, Jim, you could do Wonder Woman like this. And he got back pretty much straight away and sort of said, hell yeah, you could. Have you done any Wonder Woman? I said, no, but I'll have you a piece pretty much tomorrow, basically. So I did a sample piece over the next sort of 48 hours and sent it to him, and he loved it. And at that point on, he really championed me as the future Wonder Woman artist.
Do you dream in comics often? I know that's kind of a funny question, but do you dream about the things that you're going to draw?
Not very often.
That was just that one time.
No, it was like a real one-off, which is, you know, actually turned out to be pretty fortuitous. I mean, the whole thing about my whole run on Wonder Woman has been like that. It's just been one crazy thing after another. It's like the book. Well, it's almost like Diana came looking for me, you know, and said, right, you're doing this. And it literally has been one magical thing after another. And then, because I was attached to it before Greg was approached, and of course, when we finally got to talk, it was a match made in.
You can say it.
Yeah.
Match made in heaven. It's very beautiful. So what does, Wonder Woman is obviously everywhere right now.
Uh-huh.
So what does the character mean to you? I ask this question to anybody that works on her because she means so many different things to so many different people.
Well, the thing that I love about her is that she, unlike so many of the other heroes, it's really about empathy. It's about compassion. She has a very different approach to dealing with problems. She will always give 3 warnings, and she would always try and find a peaceful solution, which is really quite rare in comics. So she's got this huge diplomat streak, but the thing as well with her, as you realize when you work on the character, when you've been a fan for any length of time, is that she's such a rich character. The world is full of like science fiction and fantasy and mythology, and the kind of places you can go with it are huge, and the possibilities are huge. And she's just sort of profound. She really is the right character for now. This is her time, and I love that she's getting the attention that she is.
Yeah, absolutely.
It feels right, and I had no idea when I put myself forward for it that she was even going to be in the Batman vs Superman movie. I hadn't sort of been paying.
Again, all very fortuitous. It's all worked out.
It's astonishing. So, and then for her own movie to come out while I was on the book at the same time was just insane. And pretty amazing. And I'm so pleased that not only was the film so well received, but the comics had tremendous press as well. And, Greg did just a great job, writing the 25 issues, and coming back to the character after his time away, because he loves Diana. She's like a really huge part of his life. She's really his MO, is strong.
It is really amazing how much he loves the character. He
man.
speaks of the character as if it's his daughter or sister or mother or something like that.
Well, it's interesting, there are certain characters that when you get to work on them, they get a different level of life, and they become more real to you than others somehow. That's happened to me a few times, but a very few times, But we all found ourselves sort of talking about her as if she was in the room, and there's a lot of respect for that. And I mean, she's 76 years old. She's one of the 3 most iconic. Well, obviously we're talking about the 3 legendary characters of DC.
Yeah, it's a trinity. The DC Trinity, not the
word
not the other Trinity.
Yeah.
So when you're drawing her, what are you trying to? What's the message that you want to put forth in your drawings? Is it power? Is it the compassion that you talked about? What are you trying to put forth the most?
Yeah, I think it's she's got to be strong. So, Greg was like, she's 6 foot. He said, how tall do you think she is? I said, I think she's about 6 foot. He went, no, she's 6'2". And I said, okay, so she's really statuesque and strong and powerful. Nobody really stands a chance if they go there with her. But she's not going to go there herself, And she's also got this very beautiful kind of naivety quality, She's quite childlike in lots of ways. And I was really keen to capture that in the comic and have her, very sweet and open and kind of baffled by some of the things that are going on because it just doesn't make sense to her. about the way people would treat each other. So she can get really furious at that because of the craziness of, you know, humanity and why people do terrible things to each other, and it's just completely alien to her and doesn't make any sense. She's the best in all of us. She's an example, you know. It's not just about her outward beauty, it's the incredible inner beauty that she has. And I love that. It's quite a challenge. I mean, if your challenge is to draw the most beautiful person that's ever existed, that's hard, and I fail every time. I never managed it. You know?
I think you're doing fine. You're doing just fine. Don't worry about it. So when you're drawing a character like Ares, you know, what are you trying to convey most? I mean, you know, power, fear, anger?
Yeah, I mean, Ares turned out to be a really interesting character in the series because he wasn't what you know, he seemed to be. He was quite different. But the armor is one thing, and then obviously Aphrodite, it turns out, had stilled that crazy aspect of him. And so within the series, you know, he wasn't even who we were led to believe he was. And that was really interesting too, because Greg's very collaborative as a writer. So, you know, I'd been doing research about Ares, the actual sort of, not historic Ares, but the mythological version of him. And I said to Greg, you know, he's always portrayed in like Greek sculpture and everything as this beautiful youth. You know, he's absolutely kind of gorgeous. And we know we've got this this version that is all armored up and terrifying. So how do we address that? And it was fun to have, like, on the issue 1 cover, the kind of fully armored up, terrifying version, and then have the reveal when I finally got to draw him in issue 21, that he was sort of just sitting there, all charming, and, you know, just in his toga, and sort of like, oh, hello, Diana, how are you? Come on in, have a cup of tea. And it was fun to play with the expectations like that, and for him obviously to be really happy to be like that too. I mean, we talked about it. It's like, okay, this is war, and he doesn't want to be free, because if he's actually ever free, this is a terrible thing. There's a purpose to him, like there's a purpose to all the gods, but you don't want him just free, because that's bad for everybody.
So when you just talked about research a little bit. How much research do you generally do with your work? I mean, there's a lot of Greek mythology in here, Roman mythology, things like that. How much research did you do for this book, and do you do in general?
No, I because I write as well. I'm very into all of that. I love it, and so with Diana, even with the tryout piece, I incorporated elements that were from her namesake, the goddess Diana. So, you know, I incorporated the moon a lot, and I did like a boar, and there was elements to the design that suggested other, you know, things from mythology. I think stuff like that just enriches the world that you're drawing. Any background, I guess you call them Easter eggs, you know, anything that sort of hints at more, for me, is something exciting. Because it's, you know, that's what the real world is like. There's all sorts of things buried in the background going on all around us that create the world and create the space. And so it's fun, you know, all the way through the series I was embedding like skulls and faces, and, you know, there's like Ares' helmet is carved in rock in the background and sort of semi-buried in this very magical background. And even on some of the covers early on, you know, we knew we were leading that way. So, like my second cover where Diana's with Cheetah, in the background there's a rock face, and it's the suggestion then was maybe it's Urskataga, but we knew all along that it was actually Ares. So that kind of stuff's fun, and I think when readers go back and look at the run, they will find all sorts of things buried in the background, and hints and clues and Easter eggs about the rest of the story. I'm just putting some texture.
So read the comic
background.
again, or buy it again. It doesn't matter. I'm okay with either, but just read it again.
So there we go. There's an Ares
Awesome.
in his cave.
This looks amazing. Ares by Liam Sharp, everybody. Let's give it up.
Good.
Do you have a trivia question that we can ask to give this away? Or?
Yeah. Does anyone know who is pretending to be the Ares in the Nicholas Scott run? Nope. So in Nicholas Scott's comic, we see Ares in year 1, and he's in the last couple of issues, but it's not really Ares. Does anyone know who it was? No. Wow. Well, it was Deimos and Phobos, so that's my
Drag.
trivia question. Yeah. You're not paying enough attention, guys. Yeah. If you see it, actually, the scene, the two dogs come apart when he kind of explodes. So, that was the giveaway.
We can go even more basic than that. Let's just go with the more basic question.
Okay, so let's see. Something really basic. So, damn it, that's my question. I was thinking about that this morning. Okay, so let's talk about Cheetah, and what was her, in human form, what was her occupation? What did she do? Archaeologist.
There you go, sir.
My favorite character.
All right.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Liam Sharp,
All right.
everybody.
Cheers, guys.